It's Thirsty Leo season. Did you drink water today?
We know it's not August, but wherever we are,
it's always Leo season.
This is Colleen.
And this is Eileen.
And we are the Thirsty Leos.
But don't worry, this podcast isn't just about us being Leos.
Although it is what brought us together in a faraway country.
Our podcast is about
anime,
thirst,
creating content,
being Asian American women,
and just surviving through life. Welcome back to Thirsty Leo season.
Yay, welcome back, Colleen. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh, girl. No, it's sad day. It's single awareness day. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
S-A-D.
S-A-D.
We're not even in time. Why do we always do that? Okay. Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to Thirsty Leo season. It is Valentine's Day. I'm very excited personally because this is the first time that we're like preparing for a holiday. We're filming this, obviously before, and we're releasing. We missed Christmas. We missed Halloween. We missed all of them. Doesn't matter. We got in for V-Day. I mean, SAD Day.
SAD Day. Hello. It's actually just SAD.
Okay, well, I wouldn't know about that.
Anyways, what are your Valentine's Day plans, Eileen?
So I've decided to come clean and say that I am in a very deep relationship with Genshin Impact, and we are going on 6 months. No,
6 months strong.
6 months. Actually, I think it's more than 6 months, but like we were like on and off for a little bit. Now we're serious. No. I actually am in a long distance.
The fact that you don't even know your own anniversary with Genshin.
That's probably why it took me so long to get in a relationship.
Sorry.
No, I'm actually in a long distance relationship currently, and like that's usually what I'm used to. Yeah. Oh my god, first time on the podcast, like telling my truth. Yeah, I'm used to like long distance relationships and like stuff like that. So pretty much alone. I've never. There's only been like maybe a few Valentines where like I've really done something romantic-y, but definitely I feel like not the full fantasy, not the full feast situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there was like wine there, it was like a diet wine. No, that makes no sense. Colleen, I'm going to stop talking. Colleen, what are your plans for Valentine's Day?
My plans, well, it's obviously not Valentine's Day for me. It's SAD. So I am going to go. I want to take myself out on a date. That sounds so sad.
No, that's sexy. Sexy and cute, and probably cheaper and cute. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna go to a coffee shop. I'm gonna reflect on my own life. Man, I feel like I'm always reflecting on my life, but
ain't that the
truth? It
is
is what it is. I feel like I've learned a lot during my singleness for sure. But sometimes a girl gets lonely. That's all I have to say.
Girl, even like an LDR. I feel you. We could just like hang out. Oh, there's a time difference. No.
I would love nothing more because last year when Eileen was here for Valentine's Day, we didn't really hang out.
Yeah, we didn't really hang. Yeah.
I don't think we were that serious yet.
We weren't that serious, and I guess we're going on a little bit over a year in this friendship. So at least I know that Genshin, forget you. But I think we're going on a little bit a year, something like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we met February 1st of last year.
Oh my god! Oh, we're at a year in 1 week. Wow.
That's crazy. Well, that's crazy.
Also, bigger in the scope of things. So it is Valentine's, but most recently it also was Chinese Lunar New Year or Lunar New Year.
Yes.
How was Lunar New Year in Taiwan, Colleen?
It was good. I went down to Taichung, which is like the middle of Taiwan, to hang out with my mom's side of the family. But there's always, that expectation that, these relatives have on you. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's like, the weight thing. I think we get to touch up a little bit more on that in the future. But like, Asia, it's always about like your weight. You know what I'm saying? It's always like, oh, you got fatter, you got skinnier. So there was definitely a lot of that kind of trauma that was brought along into my Chinese New Year. I tried to not let it get to me though. So it was fun. I had food. I had hongbaos.
Oh, yeah, that's
the usual.
that's what really matters. Just getting the food in the home balls. And yeah, I mean, there's so many toxic things about like Asian stuff. I'm so sorry. Here in America was also fun. Seattle has a pretty big like Asian population too, so it was celebrated all over. I was actually hanging out in International District the other day, and I was with someone who like wasn't really familiar with Chinese culture, and she saw line dancing. There was firecrackers popping off, and like it was so fun. And just to like it gave me another outside perspective, like, oh yeah, this is really cool, because she had a great time like experiencing it. So I was like, yeah, it is fun. And like even just walking around and like being surrounded with like Chinese speakers again like made me feel like a little bit more at home in Taiwan. So like it was Taiwan. Good. Yeah, so for everybody out there, whether or not you celebrate or not, happy Lunar New Year. Yeah,
happy Lunar New Year. We got to keep the traditions alive.
Yeah. Colleen, how are you doing?
Oh, well, aside from the New Year's, just really busy. I feel like Lunar New Year is so big in Asia that like no one really does I'm sorry, not no one that does anything. As in like no one does work, so that everyone's just out to play, everyone's out to hang out with friends, everyone's out to like hang out with relatives. For me, like I kind of put a pause on my work. Even English teaching, I had a week off, which was great. But I feel like that kind of put a pause on my creative side. And in that, like I feel like every time I'm not like, I guess in a way I'm like a workaholic. So like when I'm not doing work, or when I'm not working towards like, my vlog or my art or Etsy shop, whatever, like I feel like it's not okay. Like there's something inside me that's like, you're not doing enough, girl. Like you need to get your ass up and do it. So I was definitely struggling a lot with that, but I had to remind myself that like rest is also important on top of the work. You need rest to keep moving forward. So I did definitely have a good week off where I didn't really worry about my art, my YouTube stuff. And so that was great. I needed that. How about you, Eileen?
I was just gonna say that like that's what Lunar New Year is for, is like just to take a week off. Like everybody in Asia, like no places are open, it's just everybody is just at home with family. That's what it's for, just taking a break. For me, actually I'm doing pretty okay. I've been working a lot. I finally feel settled in Seattle.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I think this is maybe 3 months in. November, December, January. Oh shit, is this 4? Oh wow.
Whoa.
Is it or something? I came here in November, I think. I don't remember anymore.
Tell me how time just flew by us like that again.
It did. And we just released, we launched, and then we released episodes, and then now here we are. But like for example, on Valentine's Day specifically, I was able to pick up someone's shift because I'm in an LDR, so I'd rather somebody else spend like Valentine's Day with their partner. And so I'm gonna be working that night, and also just like I also haven't been able to like have a lot of time for creative stuff because my job also is like very physically tiring as well. So I'll just come home, like unwrap myself, sanitize, and then plop, and then just like recoup for work. And then like we of course want to have the podcast, so I feel like we both are in like the same like wave of like, yeah, we're not really doing a lot right now, but we're ready to pick back up. And I'm hoping to reduce my hours so that I can like, webtoon, business, Etsy, all that stuff.
Wow. That sounds so good.
Thank you.
I mean, what do you usually do for Valentine's Day in the past few years? Like, how did you celebrate, or did you even celebrate it, Eileen?
Well, yeah, due to the LDR kind of thing, like it always was like put off, like, oh, like let's make up for Christmas, New Year, Valentine's, like for in this one day, or like let's, it's just missing that day in particular. And especially since I'm working on Valentine's, it'll be a very similar situation, like where like, okay, well, I'll catch you in the next day when I'm off, like, and we'll just like hang out. But I do kind of want the whole chocolate and roses and kisses experience. Like, who doesn't? Right?
Who doesn't? I mean, for me, like in the past, I never really got to spend it with a significant other, mainly because my dad's birthday falls on Valentine's Day exactly. So we would always be celebrating with family, and then he would be the one to buy us roses, me and my sister roses. So that was always sweet. But I've never got to experience that full out, like Eileen said, chocolate, roses, wine kind of situation. I kind of always just saw it as like oh, the next day the chocolate will be on sale, so like I can just buy a lot of chocolate.
And that I love, that is a single awareness person's mindset, and I love it that you have that, because I don't have that perspective. Oh, that sounded so weird. Though. That sounded so weird. Like I'm just like, I don't have my eye on the chocolate.
Good for you. You get to buy discounted chocolate. Guess what? I have someone to buy me full price.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like kidding. In a way, mine is sadder because I don't even have someone to buy me full price, even though I'm in a relationship. Like, because
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
We're both sad.
It's fine.
We're
okay.
both sad on Valentine's Day. It's okay. I think we've established that already.
We've established, yes. Everyone listening is like, okay, yeah, we get the point. This is uncomfortable. Okay, so take a step away from that for a second. We wanted to take this time and this special festive lovey time to talk about a shoujo anime that Colleen and I recently have like finished. Colleen, would you like to tell us what it is?
We have watched a beautiful anime called, drumroll please, Horimiya.
Yes, Colleen's sister was watching it, and then she recommended it. And I know that Colleen was watching a few other shoujo animes at the time, but the highlight is that Colleen and I have seen, especially on this podcast, we've seen like some shonen, we've seen some whatever, we've thirsted, whatever, but we've never seen a shoujo anime, and I was very excited to start one.
I know. So at the time I was watching My Little Monster. That was my first shoujo anime, actually. And I was like, oh, this is really cute or whatever. And at the same time, my sister was watching Horimiya, and then she was like, this is better. And I was like, no, it's not, because I'm competitive like that. I'm like, no, everything I watch is better. But then after My Little Monster, I don't even think I fully finished it, because I was just like saving it.
Same,
whatever.
Yeah. I didn't even fully finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hopped onto Horimiya, and I was like, oh my God. I love it. I love it so much. First of all, I feel like all the characters are solid. And I feel like the characters are so realistic, and it really portrayed a very innocent first love high school romance in such a beautiful way. And for me, since I never really got to experience that, I really loved it. I felt like I was experiencing what they were playing out in my own life, and how much I was like, oh man, I wish I had that. But obviously I'm old now, I can't do that anymore. But they definitely portrayed that innocent first love in such a good way, compared to like, now as you get older, love gets complicated or whatever, but they really portrayed it well.
Yes, Stan, I love everything about that. Like I was just saying earlier, but I think why the high school like love anime romance scene is so popular is because it's such a like nostalgic like time in theory. In reality, everyone's high school was like like a terrible time, and if you were in a high school relationship and it worked out long term and it was healthy for you, like awesome, but that's pretty much a minority. Like high school is a very tumultuous time for everyone, but in theory it's a very innocent time. Like life isn't too serious yet, all you have to worry about are friends and grades and your parents and like your who you are and stuff. And so I think that that's why why a perfect little wholesome, just sweet anime series is always like a high school setting, and why we love it as old stinky adults. We're like, oh, what a lovely what a lovely day. Yeah.
It was so cute. Like, do you want to talk a little bit about what you liked about it, Eileen?
Oh my God, yeah. Well, you kind of mentioned it, but yes, sweet and wholesome, and the realistic characters really hit me. Like, I've done my time in watching shoujo anime, and so I didn't really know what to expect. I'm like, okay, high schoolers, but wow, so well fleshed out, and like the insecure, like, okay, talking about Hori, for example, like she's a strong female character in the sense where she's just written as a realistic girl. Like I can see where her emotions are coming from, and I almost feel like I can know her in real life. Like she seems very realistic to me. There's nothing about her that's too perfect that it's untangible, and her wants and her desires and the things that she tells like Mimir that she wants to, like all like make my heart flutter, even down to the side characters. Like for example, Yuki, like her insecurities and her whole arc that she went through like really hit home for me personally. And that's a hallmark of a good series, where you're watching every episode that are not even focused on the two main characters, and you're like, oh, that's a story I like. So yeah, I was very impressed.
I think the reason why Miyamura like loves Hori so much it's because like Hori saw Miyamura for who he was even before he cut off his hair and all the girls were fawning over him, or like even with his piercings and his tattoos, like she just liked him for that, and because of that I think it really brought out Miyamura's shell. And like, you know, like because of Hori, like he now has friends, he now has a community, he now can show off his piercings without like people like, you know, judging him, and even if they do he doesn't care because it's all about Hori, you know. Like it was so cute, you know what I mean, like so cute. And I was like, damn, what I gotta do to find that kind of love, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, honestly, like that's what we all want, and it's so wholesome and so sweet. And like even like maybe I think there's like maybe one scene where they like allude that there's intimacy between them, like even that was very well done, and it like it's so sweet, you know. And like and what I like about it also is that yeah, the realism of it, but even like how they speak, like all their mannerisms and all their politeness and all their, you know, even like this small things like, oh, I thought we were on a first name basis, or like, oh, like call me by like my first name, like that is so very much Japanese, you know. And like
cute.
even like
Yeah.
like how he hesitated to put his arms around her, to like where they developed the physical intimacy at the end to be like holding each other's hands in public. Having the knowledge about Asian culture and like about like Japanese culture and language and dynamics and all that, it adds to that where like they feel real and you're like you're rooting for them and stuff. So cute.
I love Hori-san's dad's relationship with Miyamura.
Oh yeah.
Like, I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's so funny. Like every time the dad shows up, I'm like, I'm excited for this scene. I'm excited because that's also very unconventional, but it also is really cute, you know?
Or even like yeah, it surprised me. The series basically surprised me a lot. Like even like when Miyamura, like when he had to go buy the eggs in that episode 1, like he jumped over Yuki, the friend. I thought that Yuki would be like, just in that scene that like where she saw him jumping over the fence, I'm like, oh, will that be like the common love rival, or like, oh, will Ishikawa and Miyamura like become rivals and be like, oh, will this be like a threesome kind of situation? Like there's so many tropes in shoujo anime, or in any series. It's not just shoujo, it's like webtoons, it could be anything, you know. Oh, that's the love rival, that's the cool guy, that's the cool girl, that's the popular smart girl, that's the quiet otaku guy, you know. They flipped a lot of those things here. And I mean, Ishikawa and Miyamura became like best buds. Like there's like they feel all real, and I could see that happening, and I want that to happen. And it's a good world that is too perfect to exist, but it's great.
Yeah, the bromance was definitely what kept me like interested in it, because I feel like they really, like, you don't really see a lot of bromance in like regular American shows or whatever, but I love that there was a lot of bromance, like even with his middle school friend, that orange hair guy. What's his name? I don't even remember. Shindo. They're so cute together, and I loved it. Every character was well written, and one of the things that I loved was that it really addresses Miyamura's past and his depression. And at the end of the series, he kind of like talks to his old self, right?
Wow.
That was so touching.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I love how he was able to confront all of his past demons in a way, like even the guy that bullied him, that said he was the one that killed the rabbit, and then because that he was outcasted, like he was able to get on good terms with that guy. And Shindo, who was always there for him since middle school, he's now like watching Miyamura become a different person, and he loves it, you know. And I just think it was a good show, like you said, even the side characters, the background story, well written.
Very well thought out. Yeah, I have not done any research, so I don't know if it was based on a manga. I'm assuming it was, or a light novel or whatever. But I still do have like my things that I wish they could have done better, of course. But I would say that the pros massively outweigh the cons. Not even cons, but just like because I love this series so much, because it struck my heart so much, I offer some critique.
Tell us your critique, Eileen. Tell us what. Tell us, the anime master. Tell us what.
Oh my god! No, I just like, I loved the side characters, but the beginning, I felt like in the beginning of this series, we focused a lot on Hori and Miyamura, and so we got very attached to them, very close to them, and then they began to flesh out the side characters at a very good rate. Like, okay, so we have like Sengoku and Remi, and then we have Yuki and Ishikawa and Kono, and like, you know, that's all going into a flow. But I kind of felt like we lost a little bit of that main narrative of Hori and Miyamura, like kind of as we went along. Like I wish they, and then towards like the last few episodes, I was like, okay, we're nearing episode 13, and like I haven't seen any really very like stride worthy development in Hori and Mia's like relationship in a while. It's kind of just been at this like one point, and we're focusing on the side characters a lot. I wish that maybe they could have evened it out, so we're seeing Hori and Mia like progress in this way and the side characters all together, so it feels like I'm getting to know a whole group of friends all at once, rather than a couple and then the friends and then the couple at the very end too. You know?
Yeah, I definitely think that's what anime does. It kind of goes into each character, but that's because they have so many seasons to work through each character. But for Horimiya, it was just one season. I think we definitely expected more for the main couple. Which is kind of sad. I am really sad that they only have one season. I wish they could have more. I don't know how they would have done it, but I really wish they would have extended that into maybe even like 24 episodes, right? Because usually anime seasons are 24 episodes. Hello?
Maybe.
Why they rob us of that?
Maybe this was a light novel. You know, maybe it wasn't a full series, you know? Like it was just a light novel, like a really small book, and then 13 is just what they wrapped it off at. You know, I have no idea. And touching back on that scene where he's confronting his past self, there's some really strong scenes in this series, but like that I think is touching on so many levels for so many people. Like I have comics I draw of myself where I'm confronting my past self. I haven't even released those. Like I haven't even released it, but I should.
Whoa.
And because that's
intense.
That's important for healing, because about Miyamura specifically, yes, he's in a depressed character, and yes, this girl changed his life, but it's not like that sadness just goes away and his life is all better. Like it's a healing process. Like he has to learn that he can hold her. He has to learn that, you know, he can be intimate and like be sweet with her, and he has to also acknowledge his past and heal. Like, you know, like there's and it turns out to be a very beautiful story. And like when his past self said like congratulations on graduating, I was like, whoa. Whoa. Yeah, that was a good scene. Yeah, it was a very, very thoughtfully done series.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like at the end it was the main character was actually Miyamura. Like, you know, in the beginning it starts off with Hori, she's like popular or whatever, and then I'm like, oh, she's the main character for sure. But actually it's really a story of Miyamura's healing and his process of how love changed him, which I really love. I feel like love does have the ability to change people like that. And so I feel like the way they depicted it was so beautifully done. I think they ended on a good note.
Yeah. Good things.
To be in love.
I also to be in love. Yeah, or to rather to have like that high school like innocent romance. Wow, must be so nice. It's like a nice first love. I don't think a lot of people are able to have that like as their first experiences. That's why we love these series. For whatever reason you like shoujo or you like even BL or anything, like it's sweet and it makes you feel that's why I was taken aback by this series. Like wow, I'm like a grown woman and I have like butterflies in my stomach watching them like even like learn how to like be around each other and kiss and hold, because like my I guess good. My life like didn't go that smoothly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like do you remember the one thing that made my heart really just stop was when he stole the candy from her mouth? Girl,
what I liked about those scenes is that you never saw it coming, because it wasn't like a shoujo anime that I'm used to, which is like doki doki, like they're leading up to the like the blushes and the kisses. Like it just happened like almost as off-putting as it would happen in real life, like and then that just happened and you're like processing. And then it happens like when there's other people around. It happens when you're in a hallway, or it's like whatever. It's so like wow.
I'm screaming internally because I can see it replay in my head. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also like how she like kind of like likes it when he's like a little rough and aggressive with her.
Yeah.
I watched all those scenes, the highlights last night. I was like, the only thing I need to talk about is that. Like that's so cute, and I think it's so funny. I think it's funny.
It's also because realistic.
For her, she's like, you're so nice to me. Like, I don't get it. Like, you're mean to, like, not me. He's not mean to other people. Sorry. He's very protective, right, of Hori. So when he headbutted Sendoku and he was like protecting her and stuff, she's like, show me that side too, baby.
Yeah. And I not to keep on nitpicking, but like, yo, just because this boy's in a relationship and he's like happy, like why did he lose his like emo punk like aesthetic? Like because in the beginning, like that was also first episode, that's like part of the hook, like, oh, this guy has like a totally different side to him that they don't show other people. And like just because he's in a relationship with, you know, a really sweet girl, popular girl, like does he change his whole aesthetic, like even like his tattoo or whatever? And we never see him and his piercings. Like I felt like I knew people like this in real life, to where like they changed a lot over time, but they still carry those things as what am I saying? It's just that, why did his aesthetic change? Because either I'm thinking that they probably just did that as a design symbol, like, oh, like he's wearing wristbands and tattoos and whatever because he's like a troubled kid. But in reality, like it's more than just that. People like dress like that because it expresses himself. So like, does he just leave all that behind? Sorry, I just talked too much about that, but I don't know, because we never see him like be like cool again. And I think that that's where that comes out in Hori, is that she wants him to be mean and stuff, because
right, she wants the baddie that she fell in love with the first
we
time
do too.
when she laid eyes on him.
Where did he go?
So you were saying about like Miyamura's like transformation on, you know, his emo rock punk to like a ordinary Japanese student boy, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like in that, how I saw it was that like he put up a wall barrier of who he wanted to be, to show off to people and to scare them to not want to be close to him. And I feel like that's how he was before Hori. And maybe that was his aesthetic, but maybe that was also like a front of who he wanted to portray himself as. And so I feel like as Hori changed his life, he too was like, you're right, I don't have to pretend to be some badass punk who scares off people so that people won't bully me. I can be myself and be this ordinary person and still have someone that loves me for who I am. That's how I saw it. But
oh my god, that's beautiful.
Thanks. Because
I never thought of it like that. I always thought of it as like, this is his, because when I see somebody that dresses like that, I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, like they're expressing themselves.
Right.
But you're right, like maybe he did do that, because he did mention that
he pierced his ears in middle school for pain. Remember, like he did those out of pain, not because he wanted to look cool or anything, but because he wanted to feel pain, and that this is who, like, this was like his front of like showing off to the world. I can take pain, so bring it on, you know? And as love transformed him, he was just like, wow, I can be myself, and that's still okay. Like there's still someone that loves me for me. And of course I miss his punk rock, like badass piercings and his hair tied up. Oh my god, I love that. But obviously he was a cutie pie still after he cut his hair. So that's just how I saw it.
That's lovely.
That's what I love about this podcast, is that we both get to share our own inputs and our own insights on how we see things, because it's always different for everyone.
Yeah, and that's very beautiful. Wow, that's awesome. Because on the inside he always was a sweet boy. Like even when he was, that's what kind of confused me a little, because I mean, obviously he was sweet as a like punk rocker goth emo kid, but I never considered that it was a front for him. But maybe he always wanted to be just a normal soft boy, and accepting Hori's love and getting healed from that he allowed himself to be that normal boy, where he didn't have to have that front anymore. Wow.
Yeah.
Suddenly I feel different. Well, that's lovely. Thank you for sharing that.
Suddenly it's like sweeter.
Yeah, it is sweeter.
Not that your version wasn't sweet. Ugh, what a good anime. And I do want to talk a little bit about Hori-san. I feel like she's such a solid female character. She wasn't like those pick me girls, or like, you know, she wasn't like trying to take anyone's attention. She wasn't trying to like, she was always there for Yuki, like, you know, and I just loved her character as a strong female lead.
All right, so like a last thing about Horimiya and about all that is like, I'm sure that we've talked about how much we love it and how wholesome it was, but especially like as a woman, and as just speaking for myself, like to see such a wholesome and sweet and relatable and realistic relationship, like it's kind of rare in like both the shoujo genre and just media in general. And like I think that has like impacted a lot of what I've seen growing up and like how I viewed romance. And not everyone has like the most smooth start into romance in their lives, and so like that's something I want to like contribute in my art, like giving my perspective and like everything that I've learned, like consent and love and like that healing that we see in like the characters in Horimiya too. That sweetness, I wanted to pick that in my art. We see like such a perfect relationship that they have, but then it's also very realistic in the way that like they end off with graduation, but like we don't know what the future holds for them. You know, this is kind of like, and she even said, they keep on saying, I still don't know a lot about you, but I know I want to like be with you. And there's a few series out there that I know show like real relationships, even like maybe even like queer relationships too, and like what they really go through. I'm not saying that we need to consume just that kind of media. I'm saying that your fantasy, whether it is wanting to see a healthy relationship, whether it is needing to see like people work shit out, whether it is seeing Miyamura talk to his past self and gain that healing for himself, whatever it is, let's just do more of that. And that's what we as creatives can contribute to the scene, our flavor. Happy Valentine's Day. Get everything, even if you just steal chocolate. I mean, like whether it's day of or day after, get some chocolate, get whatever it is or whatever that day means for you. Get a face mask. Even if you're in a relationship, self-love, baby. Like take the first 5 minutes of the day, just be like, no, and just like, I love myself. Talk to the past self that Miyamura did and be like, I love you. We're in a good place. Enjoy the day. Happy Valentine's. We'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Thirsty Leo Season. To stay updated, check out our Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. We appreciate every follower, sub, and listener like you. Also, if you want to buy us a boba, we have a small Ko-fi linked below. See you next time!